Good morning, everyone. Jonathan J. Reinhardt here from Wargaming Recon, coming at you with another pandemic coffee break. Today is Monday, May 18, 2020. Thank you all for joining me here today for today's coffee break. As always, please remember, if you are watching live, please drop us a comment. We are streaming to YouTube and to Facebook, so you can check us out on either place and leave comments. And if you can't watch live, don't worry, tell your friends this too, right? If you can't watch live, that's okay, because we know this time doesn't work for everyone, but the videos are saved so that you can watch them on our Wargaming Recon Facebook page. You can also watch them on our YouTube channel. So if you head on over to either platform, you can get the videos there anytime, day or night, whenever you so choose to give a watch. Now, I am lucky enough to be working from home, and just like when I'm at work, I'm taking a coffee break, and I'm taking it with you. I have my decaf Earl Grey per usual, with Splenda and Splenda and cream, and it's good. I hope you have your favorite beverage with you so that you can help to get through this part of the day here. And we have a lot of things that I want to talk about, actually. So, first of all, you might notice my green screen's being a pain in the butt, and it's kind of annoying me. Such is life. But good enough is good, right? As I say at the end of every pandemic coffee break. Actually, the thing I want to talk the most about is the virtual one-day convention that happened this past weekend. I'm referring to Let's Roll Gaming Convention, which is at letsrollcon.com. This took place on Saturday, May 16, 2020, from 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I've talked a lot about this on other pandemic coffee breaks, kind of leading up to it, what to do, how you can get into it, and all that kind of stuff. But I'd like to kind of give a recap of my experience with the 24-hour, well, roughly, I felt like 24 hours of gaming. So the idea for Let's Roll was kind of born out of the fact that a group of us love to go to Huzzah, which is a historical miniatures gaming convention up in Portland, Maine, USA. And we love being there and going. And it would have been this past weekend, except the pandemic canceled it. And rightly so. No complaints there. But we still wanted to get together and hang out and meet with people and have fun and play games. And so Let's Roll came into existence. There was a lot of games that happened. We didn't have everything go perfectly, but it was our first time. And I got to say, I'm really, really happy with how things went. There were quite a few vendors, a lot of events, and just all sorts of live streaming and people coming and having fun. I believe we had something like 250 people sign up as attendees, which is huge, far more than I ever would have imagined actually going into it. And that's really cool. So there were people all over the world who played games, who came to events, who ran stuff, who shopped, who sold, who just did a little bit of everything. And I want to give a huge thank you to everyone who did come, and of course to all of the other organizers who helped to make it possible, and all the hard work that everyone's done to put into it to make it a thing. And I think it was a success. Of course, as with anything, you can always learn from it and ways to improve, which is a good thing because nothing is perfect in life. So there were instances where maybe games didn't actually take off, where people didn't actually show up who were supposed to run events, where maybe connections didn't work so well, and a variety of things like that, and smaller stuff and bigger stuff, as it were. But by and large, I think people had a good time. So the attendees from whom I heard had fun. They played games. They could get into stuff. They watched things, and it was good. For me, I did a bunch of live streaming. I'm going to talk a little bit more about one in particular in a little bit. But I started off my day doing a pandemic coffee break on a Saturday. How unusual, right? For me to do that on a Saturday. So I did that and kind of just went over some of the cool stuff that'd be happening at the convention. And then I had a great panel with game designer Roby Jenkins, where he talked about game design. And he actually had mentioned to me beforehand that he thought he had enough content about game design to do like an an hour per slide, which is incredible. And we didn't have that kind of time. He had an hour, but I really think that people would like it. And I know looking at it, we had quite a few people who watched live and who interacted and had questions and comments, which was great. He was open to that, and I had a lot of fun kind of facilitating stuff. And I know more people have watched the videos after the fact on Facebook and YouTube. And I want to say all of the almost asterisk almost all of the videos of my live streams will also be available on letsrollcon.com and are also found online on the platforms to which they were streamed, Facebook and YouTube. Again, I'm coming back to that. And then I had a break. I had an hour break, so I could actually get a quick lunch. I had some, half cooked ramen for lunch, and then I came back and I did like a 5 or 6 hour stint of live streams, which was fun, but it was hard. And I thought it'd be a little bit of a challenge, but it was more of a challenge than I thought, because I tell you, when one goes at, like, say 1 o'clock, it ends at 2, and then the next one starts at 2. There was no time for me to go to the bathroom. And I tell you, I held it for such a long time. And so anyone who's ever seen the first Austin Powers movie, this doesn't ruin anything, but now you either see it or not, because it's from the 90s. Austin Powers wakes up from cryogen, and he goes out, and part of the process of him waking up and then getting ready to be a spy again is he goes behind this conveyor belt partition and he goes down, and part of it is he has to urinate. And I felt like him, like I had decades of stuff I had to expel, because like it was just I'm sitting there and like, oh my god. But it was good. So there's a lot of good people I chatted with. Guy Bowers from War Game Soldiers and Strategy, had a great conversation with him about the magazine and all the stuff that they do over there. David Hill IV came on to talk about being a game master, an award-winning game master, I should say, and his work with the Yamashiro Mountain Fort, using it as games, and had York Bender come on to talk about things in the basement's upcoming Kickstarter for the Gettysburg Farms, did a live podcast recording with Adrian, which was really cool. And so we just did so much stuff, and it was really fun. And then I got to play in a game. So I actually had a break for dinner and to put the kids to sleep, which was kind of nice. And then I played in an 8 o'clock game of Cube of Death, game mastered by Mike Kafis, and the game was designed by my buddy Peter Bryant. It's a lot of fun. And we had some hiccups there, because on the Let's Roll website, it said it was going to be on Zoom. And it turned out it was not. It was on Microsoft Teams. And there were problems getting into Microsoft Teams and getting it to work. And I heard there were problems with other people throughout the day trying to get into Microsoft Teams to either watch stuff or to participate in things. And I'm going to just humbly suggest maybe people should not use Teams for this kind of stuff. My experience with Teams has not been good. Not just that, it's just I hate Teams. I don't like it. I think there's other options that are better. And this time we said, whatever you want to use, if you're comfortable with it, use it. And I think that's a fair way to kind of go. But like Teams was problematic. It was rough. And then a neat thing about the Cube of Death game was Peter Bryant plopped in. David Benavides had signed up. So he's a great GM and a buddy. I was playing. Like I said, Mike Ritt was a GM. Petra, one of the other organizers, and Jorg Bender's husband played. And then from all the way over in Norway, my buddy Jamie was another player. And he stayed up. Oh my goodness. This guy, right, stayed up to, I believe, 3 o'clock in the morning, his time, for the start of the game. And the game went here. So the game was supposed to start at 8 p.m. Eastern, and we didn't end until after 11 or 11:30. So the sun had come up over in Norway, and he was still playing games. And like, geez, that was amazing. And he won. It was fantastic. He won. He actually did a drawing of his character, which is really cool. And so he has that. And as we were playing, like, you could potentially get magic items in the game from. It's a trivia question based game, but like end up in a room, and if you take like a harder question, you can potentially get an item that you get. So each magic item he got a cool cloak, and he got like vials of poison or money or whatever. And so like he's drawing those on to his character, and it's really really neat that he is doing this. And the questions are really good. Just even if you think you're really good at trivia, it doesn't mean you're going to win. And even if you're really bad at trivia, it doesn't mean you're going to lose. So there's hope for people, which is really cool. And so we play that until the wee hours of the morning. It felt like it. I tell like on Sunday when I woke up, I felt just like when I'm at a convention in person, just so exhausted but excited and all sorts of things. And so Let's Roll was really cool. I do regret that because I was so busy, I didn't get a chance to actually do any shopping at the vendors, but I know some vendors are doing deals through this week or part of this week. So head on over to letsrollcon.com, and when you log in, you want to check out the marketplace, which is where all the vendors are, and you might still be able to go ahead and pick up some stuff at a good price and see how that goes. So that was a whirlwind of a Saturday, and it was good. It was stressful. It was fun, and overall, I think things went really well. It wasn't perfect, but that's okay. Again, first time doing it. I believe the hope is to do it again sometime. Not sure when, but that's for another point in time. Now, before I dive deeper, let's go to the chat and see who we have here. So we have Rob here saying hello. Thank you for joining us, Rob. And Dave says, good morning. You recover from Saturday? Not yet, Dave. My goodness, it's still, I need something stronger. Oh man. This is a tough one. Dale saying good morning. Thank you for joining us, Dale. And we have Larry joining us. Good morning, Larry. And then Jorg says hi. Hi, Jorg. And this is actually a good segue because one of the problems oh man, I'm really starting to hate them. One of the problems was that the chat I had with Jorg for the sneak peek into the Gettysburg Kickstarter was amazing. We did have some tech problems near the end where there was some sort of echo thing going on, so that when I talked later on in the session, it would come out on Jorg's speakers, and then that would get picked up and feed back in to the live stream. And obviously, the easy way to resolve it is use headphones or whatever. That was an option at the time for Jorg. No complaints from me. But the bigger problem was the fact that after this was all done and saved, and there were a lot of people watching who were really excited, and even more people who wanted to watch it after the fact because they're really excited about this Kickstarter, want to learn more about it. This got streamed to YouTube and to Facebook, and it got saved to YouTube and to Facebook. And in the wee hours of the morning, YouTube took it down because YouTube said it violated one or more of their community guidelines. And it wouldn't tell me which. No, they won't do that. Of course, why would they? They just give a link and say, here's all the community guidelines. It could be one of these things. And you violated one of them, we believe. And you can appeal. And you have like 140 characters, whatever, to say why. But in my experience, YouTube does not go back on their decisions. So if they take a video down, they will not, they'll look at your appeal, but it's going to stay down. It's not coming back. And luckily enough, I was able to actually snag the video again. I've had previous experience where way back, YouTube once banned me from live streaming on there for 3 months, I think it was, because in a live stream that I had, I showed a portion of a video that I took with my old phone, and the video portion that I showed depicted something that I made myself here at my house, and YouTube said that violated community standards for some reason. And I was like, what the heck is going on here, YouTube? What the heck? And so that had me astronomical. But then this, I can understand the other one, but this one I really can't understand because I don't know what would have been objectionable. Jorg created these designs himself, laser cut them himself. They're inspired by historic American buildings from one of the most pivotal and memorable battlefields on American soil for American history. We did not talk about how to do anything illegal. We did not insult anyone. We did not say anything bad. There was no hate speech, no vulgarity, no nudity. No kids were shown. Um, there was no false advertising, no bait and switch. We didn't do anything that could potentially go against community guidelines. And of course, the community guidelines has a thing in there that's basically a catch-all, like, or anything else that we decide. And YouTube is crazy. And I know with the pandemic that they don't have a whole lot of people there right now. And this was probably some automated process that said, look at this. Down you come. The only things I can think of is that we may have at one point mentioned the pandemic. And so they might just flag pandemic content, but why they would flag that and not these pandemic coffee breaks that are named pandemic coffee breaks, for crying out loud. Or because at one point you talked about 3D printing. And I wonder if the fact that 3D printing came up at all triggered something for YouTube. Now, I should mention, when Jorg talked about 3D printing, he said that he was on Thingiverse, which is a place you can go and you can get 3D printed files. You can buy 3D printed things from people and all that kind of stuff. And he found a design that he liked from a woman in Europe somewhere. I think he said Switzerland, but I might be wrong. So I don't want to nail down the country. And he liked the design, but it wasn't exactly what he wanted. So he sent her reference photos of the actual historic thing, which is a hand water pump, right? Not anything crazy. She designed the 3D file for him. And then he took it and gave that 3D file to a guy here in the States who we know, Timothy Colonna of Trilateral Games, who does a lot of 3D printing for himself as part of his own business. And Timothy 3D printed the thing for Jorg. The 3D printed thing that Jorg had the woman make for him so that he could then have it 3D printed here. Nothing illegal there at all, according to, I'm no lawyer, but according to the stuff I remember from when Gordon Firemark Esquire came on to the podcast and we talked about recasting. This is not a recast. It's not illegal copying. There's no copyright infringement, no trademark infringement, no violation of intellectual property, as far as I can tell. But this is literally the only thing I can think of. And really, the stuff I want to say to YouTube are things I would not normally say, and it would cause me to have to censor this whole freaking live stream right here, because I tell you, I'm pissed off at them. And I appealed, and they're not going to overturn the appeal. I know they won't. And of course, now they might see this and be like, oh, we're going to play games with you. And turn over the things and allow the appeal to go through and be like, okay, mea culpa. But I think they're full of it. And what makes me mad is that they're not clear about this. They don't really say like how whatever. And I understand they have a lot of content. They maybe can't go into details. And I don't always, it's not like I would expect a response, except they allow you to appeal. I expect for more clarity and openness, right? This is what we expect from our government, from people with whom we deal. We expect transparency. We want people to be open and frank. And that's something that we do here at Wargaming Recon. We are open with you. We're authentic. And I want a little bit of that with whom the people we deal. And so that makes me really mad. The fact that I could re-upload the video is a possibility, and they may allow it, and it might not get triggered by anything. I could create a new channel and put the video up on there. That's not a problem. I have the video now, and it's okay. The fact that it's still on Facebook is not a problem. People can get to it there. Facebook has not triggered it. Has not said, hey, we're taking that down. No issues there from Facebook at all. You think if there was a problem, not only would YouTube have a problem with it, but Facebook would have a freaking problem with it too. No, only YouTube. And so what I'm going to do is I'm raising a middle finger to YouTube right now, and I'm going to show you a clip of the video because I want you to see for your own eyes what it is that was so objectionable. And this is just going to be one tiny, tiny, tiny portion of the video that I shot myself with my footage with Jorg, to which he consented and agreed to be filmed for the live stream for an event of which I was an organizer. So you're darn right I'm mad, people. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it any longer. Bam. So here we go. once I just figure out how to open this thing. Oh, do I really have to do it this way? Come on. Okay, good. So I'm gonna be quiet for a moment and let you watch just a tiny bit of this live stream here. Okay, so I want to pause here for a second. Okay. Oh, were you not getting sound? Oh my goodness, you're supposed to get sound when I play these kind of things. Okay. So what I'll tell you what Jorg is saying there. Jorg is saying what you don't see. He's saying this is a Leicester farm, and that what he is showing is a painted and assembled kit. And that if you back the Kickstarter, you get the unpainted, unassembled kit. And that this is an example right here of what you can make yourself by taking the unpainted, unassembled kit and then assembling it and painting it. So there's a thing on YouTube where one of the community guidelines is if something is misleading. So maybe they thought it was misleading that Jorg is showing painted assembled kits for a Kickstarter for which you're going to get unpainted, unassembled ones. But he literally said it right here that it is unpainted and unassembled. He took the time to make a point of saying that. As he and I talked, I didn't even think of that. I just figured, of course, people are going to know if you're buying an MDF kit and backing it on a Kickstarter, it's not painted or assembled unless it says it is. But he took the point in time to do it here to say you have to build it yourself and you have to paint it yourself. And yet again, no sense whatsoever. So this is just ridiculous. And what I'm going to do, because I am so freaking mad, is the videos are going up on wargamingrecon.com. I'm putting it up today because, again, I don't trust YouTube. I don't. And I talked to other content creators recently about this and expressed how angry I am. Like, I am seriously so mad. Madder than about all the nonsense with that everlasting wet painting palette thing and the way Redgrass Games was trying to paint me as all that nonsense. Other content creators have told me that they are removing YouTube from their workflow. They are not using it as part of an outlet and platform for them to send content to like they used to. I'm told that they don't trust YouTube anymore and that they don't want to rely on YouTube being so arbitrary because it is. It's gotten worse and worse and worse and worse. And if you're a large content creator or small, it honestly doesn't matter anymore. So there's a content creator on there, a YouTuber who I love, who does really cool videos about Kerbal Space Program. And that's a computer game you can play where if you're into space and science and stuff, you can create space ships and things and go off and kind of recreate like the space race and everything. It's very scientifically accurate. A lot of people from NASA are into it and astronauts are into it and stuff. So there's a guy who did a video on there and he got copyright striked on it, which means that YouTube thought he violated copyright. And they took down his video and I believe blocked his whole channel. And, oh no, deleted the video. Sorry, they didn't block his channel, but they deleted the video. And so he lost all of his views. And this is someone who gets like hundreds of thousands of views per video. And all that kind of stuff translates into money for him. So he was losing money. They weren't going to pay him for his ads and stuff on there. And even with that, YouTube, knowing that he was a top creator, weren't going to do anything for him, except he happened to be able to reach out to some individuals privately who might work at YouTube or have ends and who were able to fix it for him on the condition that he could not talk about what actually happened. So the fact that YouTube messed up and the only way they would fix it is if he didn't say what they did to fix it or make reference to who or how he got it resolved, other than it happened. And isn't that just really, really dirty? I don't know. It makes me so, so mad. I put a thing up on Facebook about this because, again, I was angry. And I said in my Facebook remark, because I was so mad, I was so steaming mad about this nonsense because, we were being awful, apparently. I said I censored myself. I said bleep 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 you YouTube. They removed yesterday's live stream video where York Bender discusses the upcoming Gettysburg Kickstarter because it quote violates one or more of unquote their quote community guidelines. For real, York created the buildings himself, inspired by historic buildings found on one of America's most important battlefields. We didn't swear, show how to do anything illegal, say anything hateful or inappropriate, or anything. I literally do not understand what YouTube was thinking. WTF. Seriously, WTF, YouTube. What the heck is wrong with you? And people are just responding and so angry at what YouTube did. And it's absolutely absurd. Just beyond absurd here. I don't get it at all. And I'm thankful they didn't take down the other videos from live streams. But I'll tell you, I downloaded all the videos anyway, so I have them locally, just in case it was not something I was going to do anyway. But I had to get to bed because it was late and I was exhausted. And there was no way I could get to this video to download it anyway for a backup before YouTube took it down. And why would I reasonably even think that YouTube would take this one down? So I don't know, but I'm going to entreat all of you. If you haven't watched it yet, it's still up on Facebook. Head on over to the Wargaming Recon Facebook group, Facebook page rather, which I'll put a link in the comments below so that you can go to the Facebook page right there. And it'll be right there. And then you can also head on over to wargamingrecon.com. And I'm getting it up later today. So it'll be there for you to watch. And it'll also end up on letsrollcon.com. So I don't know what the heck YouTube was thinking. And I'm hoping my appeal works. I'm not expecting it to, but I'm hoping it does. And geez, I'm so like, I don't understand. And I think that's the worst part of it. I don't understand. If they were saying, oh, there's been reports that you had, I don't know, like swearing in it, then okay, fine. Someone reported I had swearing in it. And I would go back and look and be like, oh, they're swearing. Mea culpa, didn't realize it got through, whatever. But we didn't do anything wrong. And now I'm curious if they're going to take this one down. So we'll see. We will see what they do. YouTube, I'm watching you. Watching you, YouTube. Angry Jonathan is here. It's not often I get angry, but man, I am so angry because this just makes me mad. Makes me so freaking mad. Let's go to the chat, which does not make me mad, and see what people have to say. So we have Larry here saying 3D printing heresy. And Larry says, but did Timothy have illicit intent? Well, printing that part, moral heresy is sly. Citizens, stay vigilant. That's funny. Oh my goodness. So this has been basically today's pandemic coffee break where I've just been ranting, and that's okay. I do just want to remind everyone that if you want to, you can go on ahead to letsrollcon.com. I believe some of the vendors are still having stuff where you can purchase and get things at a discount. And if not, you can still go and buy stuff from them. And then I'm going to suggest you go and watch my pandemic coffee break from Saturday because I talk about a new role-playing game a little bit on it that arrived. And I think I shared some other cool stuff. And then also the podcast episode will be coming out at some point. Is it a week from today? Maybe I think it's a week from today. After I'll have the files. Wait, I gotta get into the audio editor, Joshua, for him to work on. So I will get that happening, and that'll be done. And otherwise, that's what we have. So thank you everyone for watching. And we got a question here. Rob, you may have missed this. Rob says, how about numbers on Let's Roll? Maybe tomorrow. So I can tell you, Rob, that as far as I know, we had roughly 250 people signed up for being attendees. And actually, emails went out. So all attendees got an email, Game Masters got an email, and vendors got an email. And in that email is a link to a survey. We can give some feedback. Love the feedback. Things you thought did well, but more importantly, things that you think can be improved on. So we want to improve. So be sure to put that in. And Rob, if you want details more than that for numbers, I'm not exactly sure what kind of numbers you might want. But I do know that I believe almost every game was full. Excuse me. And even if it didn't show as full in the ticketing software, they did fill up afterwards. So like that Cube of Death game that I was in, it only showed as having 3 people sign up as players, and it could fit 5 or 6, I think. And then it ended up being that Peter Bryan, the game designer, popped in at the last minute, and Petra Bender also popped in last minute. So we were up to, doing my math here, we had 5 players. So I think we maxed that out as well at the tail end. So that's something to consider. And as far as I know, I had one event that didn't go as planned because the person who was supposed to come didn't. For whatever reason, I don't quite know what the reason is or why. I'm sure it was a good one. So we had to switch things up on the fly. And I know the hobby hangout that was done by Iron Hammer Studio had a cut short early. So there was some people who wanted to get into that who couldn't. And they didn't know that necessarily at the time. And I think there was a case of a couple people who tried to get into a couple games, 1 or 2 games maybe, where they had signed up for it, but they couldn't actually log into the stream or whatever. So I'm not quite sure about details, but I do know that the Roll20 platform did have some problems on Saturday that they ended up fixing pretty quickly. So I don't know exactly how many games were sold out and weren't, and how many actually had people fully show up and didn't. I think we're still kind of working on getting that kind of information. But we will share what we can share and what we're willing to share at some point. And according to Jorg, it looks like we had about 270 attendees, which is pretty amazing. So not bad for a first time, and not bad for a virtual convention, actually. And I know people who came want to come back. And I know that there were people who came and did events and things like that and ran games who want to next time. So I know that was really good. That's what we have. And otherwise, thank you everyone for watching and being here for today's Pandemic Coffee Break. And like I said, we save these videos. So these are on our Wargaming Recon Facebook page. So you can always get them there afterwards. So if you can't watch it live, you can get it there. And they ought to be on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. But as I spent most of today's Pandemic Coffee Break complaining about, YouTube might just be a jerk and decide to take it down. And that's not the word I wanted to use, but I'm going to be polite. So I try to keep local copies as much as possible. And I guess maybe I'm just going to start putting them all up on the Wargaming Recon Facebook page, wargamingrecon.com rather. I guess I'll start putting these all up on there so people can just get them there. And I'll just send everyone to Wargaming Recon and say, forget it with these other platforms. I don't know. But all the stuff from Let's Roll Con will be on letsrollcon.com as well. So remember, when it comes to the pandemic, you need to listen to the scientists, the doctors, the experts, the medical professionals. And when it comes to everything in life, the pandemic and everything else, do not trust Karen on Facebook. I don't care. Just don't trust her because she's wrong. Karen, no, you can't speak to my manager. I want to speak to yours. Where's your manager, Karen? Where are they? I want to speak to your manager. Otherwise, please just be good. Be kind to yourself and to others. And otherwise, we'll see you next time. So no matter how busy you are, no matter what's going on in your life, no matter how much time you're spending thinking, wow, Jonathan's really angry at YouTube right now. What gives? You know that you have to, you gotta, you need to keep on gaming. Be well, everyone. See you tomorrow.